All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series here at Kansas Speedway this evening. I'll say drivers making their qualifying laps as they run right now as we look over our point standings. So I'll say this is 2 to go in the regular season. Next week will be the regular season finale. So you see the points here, they are as they stand, but right now, of course, this does not include the one drop week that is being offered to the drivers. So that's going to really change the points, I think, with that drop week. Also could make a change in the regular season champion as well, leading into the 3-race playoff. Let's say right now Larry Yingling in that points lead by 7 over Chad Wilkes. Ryan Kelly in third. See Kevin DeBrown, after not making Sonoma last week, is in fourth. Brandon Pasalacqua in fifth. And then the remainder of those top 8 we were talking about is Andrew Pleshy, Maxwell Caldwell, Robbie Richards. They're in that final spot at the moment. However, you see ninth, Gabe Butler's right there. Todd Merkel not too far behind either. Skylar Brown, he missed last week as well. Unfortunately, I don't think I see him tonight either, so that might hurt his chances, obviously. But we'll have to see what the drop week, how that changes things here, of course. And I say also another awesome thing I say to mention on this side of things, Dale, is going to be we got a sponsorship for our 3 races for this Cup Series Championship. Say Todd Merkel's generous enough to be able to help out with that, so we're going to have some Merkel's Racing engines involved in here, of course, and say some of his associates with his Pro Stock Racing series. We got Ross Racing Pistons, Driven Oil, Liberty's Gears. So we got some pretty good racing criteria. I'm blanking on the word now, of course, unfortunately for it, but yeah, some pretty good racing equipment there that will be helping out with these final 3 races. So yeah, really appreciate Todd and those guys jumping on for these for those final 3 playoff races. It should be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be the first season we do this, so I'll be interested to see how it pans out compared to the normal kind of the 12 race season that we've seen before.
Yeah, it's really awesome that Todd's been able to put something together based on his real life hobbies and business, and get other people involved that might not normally be involved with sim racing. So I appreciate what he's done and the effort he's put in on that personally.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, because every week we get to see that car usually out on track. He supports this league very well. Saying actually, he's actually making his qualifying laps right now. So we'll kind of sneak a little bit of a look on that car right there. And I mean, you can see right on the side of it. So you got the Merkel Racing engines on the hood. They got the Driven Racing Oil, the Ross Pistons. Obviously, he's got all of it there on his car week in, week out. So, yeah, just a really cool deal. So, yeah, again, really appreciate Todd doing that for the league, and saying he's been a big supporter. So we see him week in and week out at all 3 series. Doesn't matter if it's these Cup cars, the Super Speedway cars, and of course the Indies on Tuesdays as well. I'll say if there's racing to be done, he's going to do it. So, yeah, I really appreciate Todd and all of the sponsors that are going to be hopping on board here for the playoffs. So we'll have some logos and stuff on the broadcast in the future races for that as well. So yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. And as I said, there's definitely a lot of drivers been talking about that top 8. That's going to be, I think, a crucial point for a lot of these guys tonight. I think qualifying just about being completed here. And yep, qualifying just has finished up here at Kansas. So let's go ahead and go over our starting grid for tonight's event. So pole position gonna go to the 67 of Larry Yingling, able to keep in front of Kevin Fries there just by about 300ths of a second. Kevin DeBrown there in third, Maxwell Caldwell fourth, Todd Merkel, we just talked about him, he's gonna qualify fifth. Got Andrew Pleshy, Gabe Butler, Ryan Kelly rounding out our top 8. 9 through 16, you got Chad Wilkes, Brandon Pasalacqua, Quabi Brooks, Lewis Woodall, James Ledford, Matt Quick, Robbie Richards. So I've got a new driver here this evening, Michael Adamson. It's always nice to see some new names, some new faces to the league. He's going to start in 16th position. And then 17th, 18th would say we got the return of Charles Johnson, able to take a break from his busy work schedule. He's able to run some laps here tonight. Always a pleasure to have Charles along with us as well. And then didn't decide not to make a lap is that 071 Eric Laurie. He will start in the 18th position for tonight's event. So while everybody's getting up and gridded here, Dale, say 100 lap schedules distance. We usually, the fuel window of these tracks is like we talked about before, usually around that like mid to low 40s or so. Not enough for a one stopper. But I think we'll see again probably some mixed strategy of when to make those stops here. I believe they have 3 sets of tires in the pits, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say tire strategy will potentially come into play here as well. And again, this is Kansas. This is not like the normal 1.5 miler tracks here. We were watching the practice. You definitely saw guys running the bottom to start, but then once you got a few laps in those tires, everybody seemed to find their way, kind of move towards that top of the track. So I think track position going to be at a premium here tonight.
Yeah, and that's really one of the things I like about Kansas is that you go to Charlotte, you go to Texas, Vegas, these other mile-and-a-half tracks. You don't really run the top like you do here at Kansas. You might move up a lane, but at Kansas, the way I'm used to running it is as close to the wall as I can possibly be without hitting.
Yeah, exactly right. And especially with the some of the updates that they've had to iRacing, where you can actually now there's that little cushion of air that you should be able to kind of use a little bit to your advantage as well. Again, they're trying to do more and more things to replicate what the cars have in real life, and so I'll say it's obviously still it's a very tough situation to be in, kind of that risk first war like we talk about pretty much week in and week out. But I say the closer you can get to that wall, the more momentum you're going to carry off. But of course, it just gets that little bit of extra risk to possibly catch the outside wall and slow some momentum, possibly get some damage as well. So I don't think we're going to see people flirting with that close to the wall, at least to start off this race. I think you'll see probably drivers right above that top seam, if you will, on the track. And that's kind of what's nice about this track too, is you can see where the grooves are with those seams, and you kind of know exactly, okay, this is going to be the middle groove, top groove, and you can kind of work around that to get your car where you need it to be.
Yeah, definitely everybody's going to have a different take on how to get around this place, and here in a few seconds we're going to start to see that.
Yeah, so waiting for that green flag fly pace truck is in, and green flag is down and away. Larry Yingling going to lead the field to the green. I'll say this time Larry's going to have that inside line to start off with. Usually we've always seen Larry kind of on the outside making some big runs to start things off, but looks like he's going to get a solid start here on the inside line.
Yeah, I'm looking a little further back at the start Brandon Passalacqua had. I thought he was going to take it 3 wide, kind of singled back out for him there, but man, he had a great start to this race.
Yeah, I'd say kind of a manufacturer change for Brandon mid-season. Went from the 40s over in the Chevys. Now, we see a couple cars in the apron. Big contact right off the bat here. A lot of cars caught up in this one. Looks like the 94, the 8 just got in there as well. The 81 Todd Merkel, we saw him take a brutal shot as well. I'll say, let's see what happens. I'll say maybe just looseness on this initial start, but some drivers taking some really big hits there. Go back and pull this up here, try to see if we can get a better look to see how this all unfolded. And I think it might be, I'm not sure if it started with a 93 or if it was just in front of them or not. So we'll watch here. We're watching Kevin Brown in the 93 car, and yeah, you see he actually gets really loose on the entry here. Has to try to catch it, but the problem is, of course, you have everybody all bunched up together. Gets down onto the apron. You see Chad Wilkes. He reacts. Unfortunately, has to go up into the 81 of Todd Merkel. Nothing Todd could do. Kevin Freese gets in it. Andrew Paleschi's in it. Maxwell Caldwell. And it even looks like at the end of things, it looks like maybe a little bit of contact for that 93 car. Not much though. I said looking further back, James Ledford also. You see him trying to sneak through this as well, but he makes contact with the 9 of Bud Steele. So honestly, more cars involved than not involved in this caution. As right now I see 9th through 17th right now in the pits already here. So unfortunately, I think Todd Merkel had to take a tow there. So yeah, really rough beginning to the race for a lot of these guys. And it's going to be a lot of faster pairs as well.
Yeah, not the start anybody wanted to see, and nothing intentional there either. Just, cold tires. And this track does tend to be a little slick. So I think it's just a combination of those two factors.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's a bad deal there. And I think you're exactly right. I think it's cold tires, and we didn't really mention, but to start this race off, these cars are going to be pretty much just foot to the floor. So it really easy to make those mistakes early when you're trying to get everything you can out of those off the fresh tires, of course. So like I said, but you said though, temperature's not up, pressure's not up. So yeah, just unfortunate, just a bad situation. So I think looks like about 8 cars I think got through there cleanly. I think 9th on back went ahead and hit the pits. Like I said, Todd Merkel unfortunately having to take a tow. Looks like Andrew Pleshy, he's opted to try to get his damage repaired manually in the 82 car. So they say damage doesn't look too terrible on his machine, and I think it's the right call. Try to save that fast repair if you can. The only thing is these guys have to hustle a little bit because they say with there being no lap cars, we're already on the 1 to green here. So we're going to re-rack inside. So I think we're going to see probably a little bit more cautiousness on this next restart, just based on what we saw in that previous one. But say the advantage for Larry, of course, here is that he'll be able to control this one compared to the initial start where you just go on green. And the other thing I mentioned, we had 2 drivers start from the pits, which were the one of Gabe Butler, the 071 Eric Laurie. That worked out perfectly for those guys. They were able to be way behind the incident, so they were able to keep those cars clean as well. The other thing this does, Dale, is we're going to restart here on lap number 5 with 96 to go. We talked about that fuel window. I kind of wonder if that is in that mid-40 range on the fuel window. Could somebody try to really stretch this fuel number and see if they could make it on a one-stopper? Of course, it's all kind of banking on it going green to the end, but I'd say it could open up some potential strategies here. All right, pace truck is in. Larry England going to take things over, and he is down and away. And it looks like the 13 and the 17 getting pretty good reactions there. You see maybe a little bit of right front damage. I just noticed that 17 of Chad Wilkes. I don't think it'll be too bad here. But say honestly would have thought he would take maybe go in to get that fixed, but I'm not sure if he maybe didn't notice the damage on that car. But we'll keep an eye and see if that affects him throughout the race here. But right now, say everybody going smoothly here. Say they're going to hit turn 3 again for the second time under green flag conditions. Like I said, you know driver's going to be a little bit more hesitant here with that, what we saw there on lap number 1.
Yeah, Brandon passed Lockwood though. Look at this. Already up 8 positions it looks like now.
Yeah, I'd say Brandon's working on 3rd place over the 93 of Kevin Brown. So yeah, so Brandon now from 10th to 3rd position there in the 21 machine. Chad Wilkes from 9th to 7th. So yeah, those two able to, 1, get through the wreck, and 2, just have a great restart. But you're right though. Brandon is he's going after. You see him get right to that rear bumper of that 17 through 3 and 4. So I think that 21 car, Brandon Paslock, has definitely got something to say that he's going to want to try to get some things done here tonight. I think, again, we mentioned that a little bit of damage to that 17 of Chad Wilkes, and you can see that right from front fender damage from the 21's onboard as he peaks just to the outside. You see he's just squeezing the door of that 17 off of turn number 2. And he's going to use this momentum and the draft to try to clear Chad here in the 3.
Yeah, I talked to Brandon a couple weeks ago, and just how his intensity's kicked up, how his aggression's kicked up, and it's definitely, as we see here, his just slight change in style is working out very well for him.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been stepping up his game. And again, say one thing, it's like, oh no, he's pinned to the outside. But like we said with Kansas, eventually, say that the lanes are going to merge. You're going to want to get to that top side eventually. So obviously not probably at that transition point as of yet. But I say if he's able to stay side by side with that 17, eventually it's going to kind of move things into his favor as he comes out of turn number 4. And I think he's now going to, he just clears the 17 Chad Wilkes. He drops down to the apron. And so right now, as they move him now up into that 2nd position right behind Larry Yingling. As you see Kevin in the 93, he's trying to work over Chad in the 17 car. And then Lewis Woodall right there as well from 12th to 5th in the 00 in the Pepsi machine. Is able to keep that car clean at the beginning. Man, here comes Brandon. He's going for the lead here in 3.
I love it. Brandon has just weaved his way through this pack. Like I said, it all started with a great restart, or a great start to this race, and then a great restart. And he's now in command of this race.
Yeah, Brandon wasting no time. He's able to get to the point here. I'll say we talked about you never want to really let Larry kind of take the lead and just set pace of these races. And so that might be something that's kind of in the back of Brandon's mind, where he's going to have to try to make things difficult for Larry here. As I say, you can see now Larry's able to get right to him, but now here's going to be the decision of where they want to run on track.
Yeah, and we saw Brandon get around Chad Wilkes on the top side. The difference is Larry doesn't have any damage. He's running a clean race car still, so we'll see how this works out.
Yeah, it looks like Kevin's able to get around Chad there as well, right behind for that 3rd spot. So I think that's the damage probably showing for that 17 and Chad Wilkes. He may not be aware. There's those times occasionally where you have contact, you don't realize it, and unfortunately, let's say once you get on track, say this thing isn't driving like it used to be, and then that's usually where maybe a Brandon or a Larry, just somebody in the race would be like, oh hey man, yeah, you got some right front damage as I was passing you. And so yeah, but right now you see Larry and Brandon, though, they're doing some pretty big cat and mouse here, moving around. Larry, I think, trying to break that draft just that little bit here. As you can see, I think that the group is starting to work their way up just a little bit here. But one driver I'm noticing is starting to creep back into the picture here. That's going to be the 25 Kevin Fries, one of our super speedway experts, if you will. He's really running that top groove here in that 25 car, and so he actually pinned on that under that yellow and went ahead and put a little extra fuel in his car. He's worked his way out back up into the 6th position here. So I say Kevin Fries looks like he's going to try to make something happen tonight too.
Yeah, 12 Robbie Richards right there with him too. Both of them pitted, got some fuel. Robbie Richards at 8 positions currently. So Kevin Fries is trying to work his way back up to a starting position, but Robbie Richards just kind of following him through the pack.
As I'm going to jump back from because we got a 3-wide battle here for the lead. Coming off of 4, let's say Kevin and Brandon trying to get underneath Brandon Pastelacqua. I say Brandon's going to have the draft of Larry, and then of course have that little bit of top line momentum. Kevin the shorter way around the tri-oval here, but it says you see 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 here. They stay side by side. Saying eventually that the lines are going to shift to have that momentum up top. But you see Kevin able to clear Brandon, so move Kevin up into that 2nd position. I say while Larry still holds on to the lead. So I say Brandon got a lap led there, but then I think Larry again I think that might have been a little bit of a cat and mouse game for that 67 car here.
Yeah, and the 2 guys who are watching this and hoping it continues, Lewis Woodall and that 00 Pepsi machine and Chad Wilson, the 17, they're kind of hoping that these guys in front of them keep battling.
Yeah, I'd say Chad's in a tough spot here. Again, I think that damage really affecting the speed of that car. Actually, you're talking about Robbie Richards. He actually just got around Kevin Fries, so move Robbie now up into that 6th position in that 12 machine, and he's gone right to the back of that 17 of Chad Wilk. So, like you mentioned, Robbie having a really solid start to this race. I saw him scrape the wall just a little bit there, which I'll say you're going to see almost the Darlington stripe, if you will, sometimes from these drivers. Even with it being at Kansas, just due to how tight you run the wall here at this track. And on board here, Robbie, you can see that right rear damage on that rear bumper of that 17 car of Chad Wilk. So yeah, Chad's definitely got some more damage than maybe he had realized initially. So again, he's right now trying to manage the best he can, but like I said, he'll either need a yellow to get this fixed if he wants to save that fast car, or possibly have to just burn it under a green flag pit stop, worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely affecting him, but he's not managing it horribly. He's a little bit off pace, but certainly not the slowest car on the track right now.
No, definitely not. And saying, see a few of these drivers starting to creep back in there. A lot of drivers had to use those faster pairs, unfortunately. I say Maxwell Caldwell, one of those in the 94 car. He's worked his way back up into that 8th position. You got Ryan Kelly right behind him. Then you've got the 89 of Matt Quick. I think Matt Quick was not involved in it. But you see those 2 in front of him, the 94 and the 13, those 2 definitely had to use that faster pair. So they're going to have to kind of drive with some with some restraint here, be a little bit maybe not overly cautious, but drive a little extra cautious. Again, it's because they know at this point what they've got on that car is going to be what they have the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I mean it could go green the rest of the way, or you could have 2 or 3 cautions. It's just you don't really know, and they have to keep all that in mind, keep that they don't have that fast repair in their pocket in mind, and drive accordingly to keep themselves out of trouble.
Yeah, exactly right. So I do need to note Todd Merkel is back on track. Unfortunately, is 2 laps down though. However, is the only car a lap or more down at the moment, so is in contention or in position to be able to get a lucky dog should there be a caution. But I say right now you can see the field pretty spread out here. But the thing that kind of makes things open to potential issue down the line is just, again, everybody running this top side, running this wall, so it really opens the door for potential issues. Like right here you see Robbie Richards, he's actually fallen back a little bit now to Kevin Fries, Maxwell Caldwell. And so when you start getting everybody lined up on the wall, just like guys like talking about, say, didn't want to be the one to kind of jinx anybody, but I say when you got everybody kind of stuck up against the wall like they were there, if you're right on top of one another, if one of them gets in the wall, there's a good chance you might get into the back of that guy. And say luckily for Kevin Fries, he was just far enough back to be able to kind of cut underneath Robbie Richards there to avoid making contact with him. But that's something that you will see, and you have to be very cautious about to make sure you're not too close to that guy in front of you with everybody running this top groove.
Yeah, and there's a sweet spot on entrance and exit here. Um, in my opinion, at least the way I race this track, there's a perfect spot for me where the car's not too loose. The 12 getting in the back of the 94 there a little bit.
Yeah, as they were watching at you right there, and yeah, Maxwell, I think maybe try to slide up just a little bit in front of Robbie. They're coming out of two, and I say Robbie again. That top group's going to have the momentum on the exit, and they had contact between the two of them. But luckily for Maxwell, a car able to be able to basically take the contact, not get hooked. I say that's my biggest concern for situations like that, is to potentially get that kind of get right hooked into the wall, if you will. But yeah, so that was a close call between them as they went through the top two that last time by. Now Ryan Kelly, he's going to jump into this battle as well. He's going to try to get a 2-for-1 here.
Yeah, Matt Quick's not going to let that happen. He's getting up here, going to work on all three of these drivers at once.
Yeah, see Matt Quick able to start the race here, not 63 laps after the beginning of the race, so that's good to see him right at the get-go in this one. And yeah, you're going to see he's able to clear that 12 of Robbie Richards as well. So I think Robbie, that wall hit, same thing that may have slowed his momentum down a little bit, maybe a little bit of fender damage, because these Cup cars are very sensitive to aero. So say right now running about 170 or so through the turns with this high downforce, low horsepower package. So you keep a lot of speed up and through the turns here.
Watching Kevin Brown get passed by Brandon Passalacqua up there for second, and this is me and him's talked about this before, where I personally feel Kevin's good, like really good at his best between laps 10 and 25, and now as we hit lap 24, he's starting to lose momentum and fall back a little bit.
Yes, and that just might be, like you said, maybe just Kevin also being a little bit too aggressive on the initial start there, burning up that tires a little bit, maybe hurting that right front tire especially. That's the really crucial one for tracks like this, especially when you're running the wall like you are. But yeah, so Brandon back up now into that second position, but I say Larry kind of doing what he does best, going to try to sneak away a little bit. I'll jump a little further back here. Charles Johnson, he's having a good fight there with Michael Adamson. Again, Michael's in the number 8 paint scheme you see on the inside line. So he's new to the league. Saying Charles able to make a nice return after having not being able to make some races just due to the work requirements there. And then right behind them, the one of Gabe Butler, again one of our super speedway experts, if you will. He's right there as well in the number 1 machine. Then Andrew Pleshy in the 82. Again, he opted to get damage repaired manually to his car. So I think he might be kind of in a similar situation as Chad Wilkes. That car just may not quite have the pace he's looking for. You got Todd Merkel right behind him. Again, still unfortunately 2 laps down in the 82 machine, but able to get the tow and get back out on track here. And then the 53, Clubby Brooks, right now showing in the 16th position. And last car on the lead lap at the moment is that 071 of Eric Laurie. So a lot of these guys did top off on that 1 to go here, Dale. So I'm curious to see if that might be a strategy call for some guys, maybe trying to see if they could stretch this thing, maybe make it a 1-stop race or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's still up in the air for me. I'm not really sure how the pit strategy is going to work out. It should be 40 or 45 laps, I would think. So the guys who topped off could potentially make it to the end with 1 more.
Yeah, it just depends on the pace. And of course, with everybody running the wall though too, I mean, you think about Kansas, okay, it's a 1.5-mile track, but I mean, if you're running the wall, I mean, you're probably closer to a 1.6, 1.7 mile track, really, just the way, just with that distance from the bottom groove to the top groove. So that's going to be something to keep in mind as well here. I'm going to jump back a little further forward as we got a nice battle here right outside the top 5. Maxwell Caldwell chasing down Lewis Woodall. He's got to the bumper of him. Now he's going to have to try to, again, get to the inside, see if he can make the pass here. Now we've seen the slide job attempted before. So this is not a track you really think about slide jobs, but you can see Maxwell just about cleared the 00. And I think he might be able to get the job done here through the trial.
Yeah, this is, Kansas is one of them places, as Lewis Woodall kind of gets the wall there on entry, but Kansas is one of them places where you have to be a little more risky to make these low line passes once the tires cut in, as we're, 30 laps on these tires.
Yeah, and you're exactly right on that, Dale. It's you kind of say, we joke about slide jobs. I say it's kind of something you see in dirt racing a lot, but you see it a lot here now at these 1.5-mile tracks, especially like I said, if you're running the top side. Really, the best way to make those passes is just to pretty much send it into the entry and then try to wash up and have that top groove momentum on the exit. And I think what we saw with Lewis there was basically you get into that wash of that car behind you. Say obviously not nearly as bad as what we see with the Indy cars with on the Tuesdays. But you definitely do get some aero wash when you get right behind that car. And I think that 00 just got in the wake of that 94 car and just didn't have the air in his nose to to get that rotation like he needed there. So I think that's what we saw there from him. And I see some strategies going on early here. Ryan Kelly's going to be first of leaders. I think he's going for that pit strategy we've seen before, Dale. He's going to try to split this race into thirds. So Ryan Kelly making his first stop here tonight.
Yeah, not the strategy I normally go with. We've seen it work, so I don't think he's making a bad choice as of yet. But he is, going to be on fresher tires, going to be able to make up this time rather quickly, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this almost work out for him perfectly a few weeks back as the cautions didn't fall in his favor. Do you need to mention, I mean, lap times, they've fallen off. It looks like about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds or so for these guys. You also see the 8 car, Michael Adamson, he's coming out of the pits right now. So it looks like he had to do possibly some damage repairs to his machine just based on the length of his pit stop. But I mean, we got a gaggle up here now. You see Andrew Pleshy, he's gotten up to the 9 of Charles Johnson here. And then also you see the 071 Eric Laurie, he's starting to catch up to Quabi Brooks. So you got about 6 cars here, all within about a second or two of one another. Saying again, this is kind of when things get a little dicier once these tires start to wear. And you feel like, okay, I feel like I've been saving my tires maybe better than that guy around me. So it's Andrew Pleshy trying to make this topside work around the 9 of Charles Johnson.
Yeah, and they're going to know pretty quick who saved their tires as these guys are racing around each other. They'll know pretty quick who saved. If the 9's able to hook the bottom and go, maybe the guys in front of him don't race him so hard. They'll see him coming and hopefully get out of the way. Or vice versa. Maybe they watch you and say, yeah, he didn't have the tire he think he has, and they'll hold on to what they got as far as a line.
Yeah, so here comes Charles Johnson. He's going to hit the pits as well. So they'll say right now we're seeing 2 strategies. Matt Quick, he's also in the pits in the 89 machine. So I think we got 2 strategies right now, Dale. So we talked about usually what these drivers do is they kind of just run this thing as far out as they can. But then we have also seen the other side of the window where drivers will actually pit pretty much as soon as they're in that third distance mark. And I think I just see the 17 of Chad Wilkes. Here comes Chad. So he's going to be one of our highest up drivers that's going to make a pit stop. I think I see Lewis Woodall here. Oh yeah, he overshot his pit entry. See, he actually came slow down and turned around to get inside that pit cone. I think that'll avoid a pit stop penalty for him. So say good heads up driving by Lewis there to do that. But I want to keep an eye on is the 17 of Chad Wilkes, whether or not he gets the fast repair done to the car. And I think he did because I just noticed that right rear definitely looked like it got fixed up there. So say Chad Wilkes using his one fast repair here. And all right, pit stops are getting busy, Dale, because here comes Kevin Brown, here comes Maxwell Caldwell. Also Kevin Freeze, so pit stop actually looks like everybody's starting to react a little earlier than we suspected they would.
Yeah, it's either a fuel mileage thing or these tires are just wearing super bad.
Yeah, and I see Larry, he's jumped to the inside. That's usually the telltale that he's going to be hitting pit road as well. And yeah, here comes Larry Yingling. I saw 21 Brandon Passalacqua. He's also ducking left, so yeah, here he comes as well. So yeah, so I'm not sure you're exactly right. I'm not sure if this is a fuel strategy because here comes Robbie Richards as well. So based on this, I mean, I feel like this is a fuel number thing. We'll have to keep an eye because right now the only 2 cars that stay out right now are going to be the 071 Eric Laurie, the 53 of Quabi Brooks. So these 2 are going to wind up taking the point here through the pit stop cycles, I believe. With Eric Laurie, looks like going to be shown as our race leader for the moment here. So. Yeah, so right now they're on lap number 34, 35 of their fuel run, but again, now they're going to be kind of in a tough spot here with the tire difference with these guys. But I see Eric Laurie, he's starting to angle down, so I think we're going to see a pit stop by him. However, Quabi Brooks still running the top, so I think he's going to go one more, get him a lap lead in that 53 car. As we're going to cross the line here, he's going to have 63 to go this time around.
Yeah, Larry pitted. I'm going with it's a fuel mileage thing. We might overestimate it a little bit. Larry's usually the guy who will run it completely dry and is relatively easy on the tires. So I don't think it was him fearing that he was going to lose a right front or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see because I'm watching now. We'll watch the 53 and see. You see, I was worried he was going to make a late pit stop there. You see how he's kind of arcing off of the exit there. You saw Maxwell Caldwell coming with a big head of steam. Ryan Kelly as well. So. The question now is going to really be where everybody cycles out through this pit stop sequence here. But right now that 53 is still holding on to the point here, trying to stretch this fuel mileage as far as he can. And saying it's a nice strategy to do sometimes because you never know, someone might make a mistake on the pit exits, or again on cold tires, you don't know what they're going to do. But right now, say that the 53 and of course Todd Merkel right now the only 2 that have yet to make their stops I'll say Todd, of course, I think that's a great call by him as well, because you might as well try to see if you can maybe get yourself at least one lap back the easy way here in the 81 machine.
Yeah, well, look at up front. Kevin Brown's trying to work his way around Chad Wilkes, and there's only a lap separating them on tires, and so far they've just been hanging door to doors. Looked like there might have been a little contact there between the two. Actually,
oh yes, I'm not sure if it was contact or net code or not, but unfortunately that Chad Wilkes a big shot to the outside wall, so I mean that's gonna really hurt him now. Because we just talked about that fast repair, and that's it. So he's whatever damage he's got, he's gonna have to live with the rest of this race here. But yeah, so just a bad deal for that 17. As they've just been in the wrong spot at the wrong time a couple of times there. Duty Mention 53 still on track here. Let's go back and take a look. Because I don't know if that was net code or not, or if it was just contact between the two of them. But yeah, like I said, though, Chad Wilkes definitely getting the worst end of that one. So I'll watch him through 3 and 4. 93 on the inside, 17 to his outside, right on his door. Yeah, so it already went by there. Let's see if I can find a better shot of this one. Actually, you know what? Let's look from the back of the 67 Larry Yingling. This will be our best shot here. Oh yeah, that's all sorts of net code there between the two of them. So just unlucky for Chad. I'll say they're everybody doing what they needed to do there, but just yeah, unfortunately the contact between the two, just again, no actual contact, just net code that unfortunately going to really hurt that 17 tonight.
yeah, and neither one of them really know what happened. You know where they were on the track and where they were in relation to each other. Both of them's looking through the corner right next. They don't know if it was net code or they actually made contact. At this point, I mean, they really have no way to tell.
Yeah, exactly right. I say if you're Kevin, you're saying no, man, I was on the white line, like that's I feel like I did everything I could there. And if you're Chad, you're just like, oh man, I think he just washed up into me, kind of a situation. So right now we got a really good fight here going on for the second position. Kevin going to try to work Larry Yingling here. I say right now, actually, Kevin is 1 lap older tires than Larry. So I think again, Larry, we talked about his tire management being among the best of them here. So we'll see if Kevin's able to make this pass again. This could be, like you said, Dale, though. Right now, this is kind of where Kevin's usually in his sweet spot on the tire run. But we've seen time and time again, Larry Yingling, though, say once you kind of get that 10, 15 laps on the tires, you can really make things happen. However, I still see Quabi Brooks, Todd Merkel, they're still out here. So I actually think those pit stops were actually a reaction to some of those guys around, because now I see the 53, 81, they both hit the pits. So they're going to be pitting here about 40 laps into their fuel run. So I think some of the leaders could have gone further should they chose to, but I think they were just, again, I think you're right, though. I think that tire difference was just actually that much between them.
Yeah, and Quabi's, he's going to be able to stretch it out. Was 42 on his run. So, lap 85 probably. The problem with that is I don't think he's going to have enough time at the end of this race, assuming it goes green, to make up that time with those fresh tires.
No, so the best chance he has is just if all goes well, maybe be able to have. I mean, of course, right now he's going to hop out on track. He's going to have the freshest tires, so he's going to be able to. He's going to be really close to getting lapped again by the leaders here. But he's going to have fresher tires, so he should be able to chase them back down and get back around them if they actually get to him. I'll say the best thing he's got going for him right now is these guys running 2x2s. You see him leaving the pits as the leaders pulling by here. So I know he doesn't want to ruffle feathers or anything like that, but he's going to need to kind of use those tires here early, get that lap back right now, say while he's got the fresh tires, and then kind of let things settle in after that.
Yeah, and hopefully by the time he gets there, this battle for the lead will have sorted itself out, because he is not going to be able to lose his momentum, like you're saying, on the fresh tires. He's got to get around them. He's now on a completely different tire strategy than they are, and where we are in the race and where he's elected to pit, he's got to continue with that tire strategy.
Yeah, exactly right. I say once you made your bet, you got to stick with it. But I say we hopped on board here with Brandon Pasalacqua here through 3 and 4, because I mean he's got a perfect view of this fight. I mean he's loving this right now, Dale, because he's been catching them about 2 or so tenths a lap, and I mean now he's within half a second of these guys, about 4 tenths now, while they've been fighting side by side. So if you're Brandon, you're hoping these guys have been burning their tires up a little bit while they've been doing this, because that could make the life just that much easier for you. Once you get to them, their tires might be a little hotter, might be a little bit more worn. Now they get singled out here. So you see Brandon, he's going to duck to that inside, see if he can maybe grab some positions here.
Yeah, Brandon kind of used everything to his advantage, did what he had to And the nice thing to him is he was making great time and didn't have to really use his car up that much. But as we talked about a few minutes ago, Quabi Brooks is poking his head into the picture and going to want to get his lap back.
Yeah, I mean, again, he has to, Dale. He's got about 10 lap fresher tires, and last time by, he ran at 30.1 compared to 30.6 for the leader, so he's about half a second quicker. So now the hard part for him, though, is you got to figure out, okay, what line are they going to run? That way I can try to find my way around. But like I said, he hasn't been able to run the full season, so you always get a little bit hesitant. You see Brandon, he's not going to put up any fight there. He's going to go ahead and move on to the top, let the 53 on by here. And I'm saying that's also, I think, a good strategy by Brandon as well, because maybe Quabi can open the door once he gets underneath Kevin and or Larry. Maybe Brandon can try to fill that gap and see if he can get by him as well.
Yeah, and Brandon's close enough. You know, he can hopefully get Kevin off the corners. Quabi's completely clearing him and getting under Larry now. Wow, that was a lot quicker than I expected it to be.
Yeah, these fresh tires, they don't mess around. And we noticed during practice, even like 4-lap fresh tires, they made a difference. So again, Quabi having about 10-lap fresh tires, let's say you feel, let's say again, obviously you don't like where you are track position wise, let's say getting his lap back, but it always feels good when you're able to start kind of just blowing by these leaders and being able to get yourself back on the lead lap. And now, let's say his goal is going to be to basically put a gap on him. Because even while doing that, Dale, he was still, again, about a half a second quicker than those guys. So that's the difference of about that 9-10 lap difference on tires from the 53 to the 67 car.
Yeah, and he's going to do as he's doing and just completely drive away from him. He really has to go into full tire management mode because he's got to make a full tire run. He's already committed to that strategy, in my opinion. So he's got to really manage what he's got from this point on.
Yeah, I agree with you. So kind of job number one now, you're back on the lead lap, so should anything happen, you're in a good position. So yeah, so now you just kind of manage your tires, just pace yourself really. The rest of this fuel run, like I said, just do what you did last time, run it out. We saw him do about, I think it was about 40 or so laps that last time by. So if he can go another, let's see, about 30, 35 laps, let's say that should put him like about that 10, 15, or about 15 to go. I want to say somewhere in that range. Which that might be a little longer than he needs to go, but I mean, you catch a caution at the right time, you might be in the catbird seat.
Yeah, I mean, Quabi's no stranger to victory lane this season. You know, he's won once in the was it this league or Super Speedway? Super Speedway, wasn't it?
Super Speedway League. Yep. He got the win over there on the Sundays. I say Brandon Pasalaco, he's putting all sorts of pressure on Kevin Brown here for second place. So I did want to run around a little bit here, Dale. Kevin Freeze still kind of sitting solo here in the Sports Fuzzy, slides it through turn 2 here. He's got a nice little margin in front and behind him. Maxwell Caldwell, though, he's right there with Chad Wilkes. Again, Chad recovering pretty well still. So unfortunately, again, just kind of a damage control race now for the 17 car. Had to use the fast repair that last pit stop. And then we saw that net code contact between himself and the 93 car. And so now say once that now kind of the damage basically just right back on the car that he had from earlier. So not what he was looking for, but still making the best of it at the moment.
Yeah, and Chad doesn't want to have a bad race. Nobody does. But Chad's put himself in a position this season where he can afford to have a bad race if the cards fall that way.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point too, Dale, because you're right. I say again, these drivers will have the one drop week available to them, so we'll see if that comes into play or not. How it affects the title here. So we'll be definitely watching that closely. Behind him, Matt Quigg, he's up into that 7th position. Also, again, just kind of a nice little bubble right now in that 89 car, from 14th to 7th. So he's made a good gain as well here so far through the race. Behind him, we talked about the 82 Andrew Pleshy. I'm not sure if Andrew went ahead and used the fast repair or not during that pit stop under green flag conditions or not. So, but he's holding pretty well now up into that 8th position. To say he's actually had to make a lot of time up from his restart position. So he's been doing a really good job after that first incident. Robbie Richards right a little bit further back there in 9th. You see again, Robbie. Oh, you see just kind of just rubbing the wall there through 3 and 4, and that's what you're going to see here at Kansas. Again, he's just trying to get everything he can out of it. That's going to bring James Ledford just that little bit closer there in that 10th spot. We saw Lewis Woodall have to make the kind of the evasive pit entry there. Lost him a little bit of time on the entry, so that's dropped him a few spots here back to the 11th position. Gabe Butler is in the 12th spot. Say also again, he's got maybe a few lap fresher tires than these guys in front, so maybe be able to start slowly close the gap on them as well. Charles Johnson is in the 13th spot. And right behind him, Eric Glory. Say Eric was one of those that had topped off on that under that first yellow. He pitted a little earlier though. He does have the fresher tires of these guys in front by about 4 laps over Charles. So I think Eric Laurie should be able to start closing that gap. And then of course we just talked about that 53 Quabi Brooks, let's say. And it looks like his tires have just about equalized, Dale, because I'm looking at his lap. Actually, as I say that, he just now puts down the fastest lap of anybody, or not of anybody, sorry, the fastest lap that last time by of the drivers. I was going to say his tires kind of equalized, but looks like still has some pretty good pace in that car. But yeah, it's put about a straightaway or so over our leader, Larry Yingling here.
Yeah, and he just got to keep doing what he's doing. You know, I think he's done a great job so far. He's just got to keep it up. He's still, a half a second, it looks like. So that's right where he needs to be. Because the way I figure it, he's got 25 or 30 more laps to pit.
Yeah, exactly right. And here comes actually early pit stop here for Chad Wilkes. He's going to jump in now with 40 to go. So I think Chad, he's going to work this one backwards, where he's going to pit basically once that window opens here. So we'll see how this one's going to pan out for him. I'll say, I don't know if he's going to have time for any damage repairs, unfortunately. So that was the thing I was going to be curious about for him, is if he could get any damage repairs, ideally under yellow, of course. But yeah, so say he's going to make his second pit stop, which should be scheduled to the end. Whether or not, of course, if a caution flies, that could change everything, of course. I don't think, though, Dale, I think this is a little early, so I don't think anybody's going to react to this pit stop by the 17 car. So I don't suspect we'll see Larry or Kevin or Brandon react to this one at this point. However, do need to mention, though, that 81 Todd Merkel, he also ran long like Quabi did on that first stop. I'll say, so Todd trying to get one of those laps back as well in the 81 machine to, again, try to help his chances to kind of just get what he can back in this race. So say, like that we were mentioning, though, last time by Quabi, he was... there's been a few times where he's been the only driver in the 30s where everybody else is up into that 31s already. Say Todd Merkel is the other one that was running those 30-second lap times in that 81 machine. So yeah, those tires definitely make a big difference, again, with about the 9-lap difference since their pit stops.
Yeah, and you know, Todd's here on fresher tires, going to get one of his laps back the hard way. Still going to put him 2 laps down once he makes it around Larry. But if the race kind of turns it, you know, over on its head, he may not be in a bad position.
Yeah, exactly right. And actually, just now noticing the 13 of Ryan Kelly, I must have missed something at some point, because he is showing at the moment 1 lap down in 15th, and he's got some pretty significant right side damage, Dale, to his car. So he's definitely had some pretty big contact with the wall at some point during this one. I said, unfortunately missed it, but yeah, usually Ryan Kelly's one we kind of talk about being the really long run pace car, but he obviously had a big moment somewhere that's cost him a lot of time and track position.
Yeah, and I didn't notice that until just now. You saying that, I also noticed that Michael Addison has retired. You know, this was his first race here, so I don't know if maybe there was an incident that involved both of them. Not really sure what happened.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. Definitely a potential for that. So unfortunately, did not catch it. We'll have to try to see if we can maybe find out later on what went on. So maybe try to look during a yellow or something like that. But right now, so you can still see Todd Merkel still trying to find a way around Larry Yingling. But I think at this point, tires are just about starting to equalize. And saying Larry kind of doing what Larry does best and keeping that really good long run pace. So say his drop off has not been very bad at all in that 67 car. He's been able to start building that gap a little bit up. He's been running about 31.1s, 31.2s. This time drops a little bit to 31.3, which is still about a half a tenth or so quicker than those guys behind him.
Yeah, we talked about Quabi Brooks in that 53, and I just noticed that his lap times kind of fell off abruptly, and he's got a little right side damage. It looks like he may have had some contact with the outside wall as well.
Yeah, so that's just the nature of this track. The Kansas stripe doesn't really ring like the Darlington stripe, but yeah, so it's just when you're running the wall, it's just something that you're gonna see from time to time. And but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you gotta try this. I think this is a really good thing for a lot of these drivers is to try it and take the risks at this point in the race, because you need to learn what you can and can't do, and it's only gonna make you better as you go on and you're able to kind of run that wall and get more comfortable with it. 'Cause I mean, I know for me personally, I'm not good running the top side. I just never feel comfortable. Like, just don't have the feel for like where my fenders are in relation to the wall. So More often than not, I find a way of hitting the wall. It doesn't matter if it's on the turns and the straightaways. I'll find a way and get to that wall. So then I'd be doing right now. You see where Larry is. He's got about a full car width between himself and that outside wall. I'd be saying if I was in the shoes of that 67 car on track tonight, I'd be driving that exact same way, just running the top, but giving myself as much wiggle room as possible.
Yeah, I'm in the other side of that. I like to be as close to it as I can get. That's to me, that's where the car feels most stable. In previous builds, I'll say I don't know how this build feels up there, but yeah, historically, I like to be as close to that outside wall as I can get.
Yes, and I mean that's where the time is. So I mean it's not the wrong decision by any means. You see a few drivers here hitting pit road to make their scheduled final stop of the race. That's going to be Matt Quick and Kevin Fries, Lewis Woodall, 13 Ryan Kelly. He just hit pit road as well. So it looks like pit window is starting to open. Larry Yingling, I'm surprised here. Larry's actually coming in now, as is Kevin Brown, and I believe Brendan Pasalacqua as well. So these guys are not really, I mean, they're all right on top of each other on the pit strategy. Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to run one extra lap in the 94 car. I think just going to cross the line here as a leader, so he's going to be able to get a bonus point as well, which we know how critical those are. Also see the 82 Andrew Peleschi, he's hitting the pit road. So it's busy right now. We got pretty much most of our lead lap drivers here all hitting pit road right now.
And this is something new for me because I think it was last week or the week before. It was last week. I talked about how Larry's usually not the pit decision maker. Larry, waits and sees what everybody's going to do, and then usually goes a lap or two longer. To see him come in before everybody else kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, and I said, man, on the opposite coin of that, I really suspected we would see somebody actually decide to run, like maybe a Kevin or Brandon. All right, I'm going to run one more lap, then go in. That way I have that one lap fresh tires. We've seen it make a difference before, but just nobody's wanting to do that here tonight. I say the only one who did tonight was Maxwell. He's went ahead and made this decision to do the same thing. So right now, Charles Johnson, though, he's going to be cycled around as our race leader in that number 9 machine, yet to make his final stop of the race. But I say we're back to about where we were before here, Dale. The only two left to pit are going to be that number 9 Charles Johnson, which looks like he's going to hit pit road this time around, and that's going to cycle things. Nope, actually I lied. He stays out on track. I say the other car going to be that 53 Quabi Brooks. I say Quabi only pitted about 27 laps ago, so say he can go. I would say another solid, probably about 10 more laps at least. And I say again, I mean at this point you made your bed, like you talked about too. You might as well lie in it and just let the chips fall where they may. I say. I know this isn't a gambling place like Las Vegas is, but I know there is a casino here in Kansas nearby the track, so why not take the gamble here tonight?
Yeah, and it could work out. Quabi's still got a healthy lead, but he's about 2 seconds slower than Larry is currently.
Yeah, so it's gonna. I mean, what's gonna happen is if he does run this out when he makes his pit stop, he will wind up getting a lap down. But again, I mean, it's a risk versus reward. I mean, I like the call here. Say if you're going to do it, just own it and just run it as far as you can and see. Like I said, I mean, there's always a chance of things happening. Or say right now, it looks like Charles Johnson. I think now this might be his pit stop. Yeah, here comes Charles Johnson. He's going to make his final scheduled stop of the race, and that is coming with 28 to go here. So that's going to cycle Quabi Brooks out into the lead. And I say Larry Yingling, though, he's had a great in and out laps on his pit stop. You can see. He's been able to build a pretty good gap. It looks like now actually over Brendan. Well, we missed something, Dale, because if you look now, you got Brandon Pasalacqua there up behind Larry Yingling. And say I'm trying to find that 93 of Kevin Brown, and he is a ways off in that 93 car. I'm trying to see if he has any right front damage, but that car definitely is hurting here. So something must have happened to Kevin, though, after that pit stop.
Yeah, just scrolling back through, looks like it might have been a little incident between him and the 17 of Chad Wilkes. So definitely unfortunate for Chad, as we know he does not have any way to repair his car other than manual labor. If their caution comes out, Kevin will be able to use that fast repair and get his machine fixed.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back here on the replay, take a look and say we know Chad pitted a lot later than the 93 car, so we'll look here through off of turn 2. And yeah, it looks like let's see, it was the inner 3. Oh yeah, Chad went low. Yeah, Kevin takes a big shot to the outside wall there. And saying say again, I'm not one to make assumptions and guesses, as it looks like the 93 is in the pits now getting service done, probably getting a fast repair done to that car, I would assume. But I wonder if that falls back to the contact earlier. We talked about not knowing if and where, if it was if maybe Chad felt like he got just kind of washed up into As we saw on our side, it looked from everywhere I was looking at, it looked like netcode. But I wonder if that may have been kind of the net result of that one, just a little bit of frustration. It looks like Quabi's going to hit the pits here. 25 coming to 24 to go, so he's not going to run it as far as he could, which I think is not a bad call here, Dale, but I think this will give him the opportunity to be able to get that lap back, basically going another about 8-9 laps further than our race leader, Larry Yingling.
Yeah, looking, I don't know, maybe Kevin had already used his fast repair, as he's almost a minute on pit lane currently.
Yes, the only thing I could think of there is maybe he got too fast on entry, maybe stop and hold. Usually it's about 40 seconds, but at this point, yeah, I feel like, yeah, you might be right. May have already had to burn that fast repair, so not what he was looking for. As you see, Larry, he's coming around here. He's going to put the 53 of Quabi Brooks 1 lap down now. But again, it's like Quabi's going to have the fresher tire, so he's going to have to try to see if he can rebound back up to this one. But with this changes the running order a little bit here, Dale. It's going to move Brandon now up into that second position in that 21 machine. But we got a little battle of the beers here. Actually, I think it's not even a battle, because you got the 21 of the Miller Lite machine of Brandon Passalacqua, and then right behind him you've got the 25 of the double check that. I think that's a Miller Lite. Yeah, that's Miller Lite of Kevin Freeze. So right now, you got Miller Lite here running second and third here. Pretty good run for them going on. But say the chat here though, they're not mincing words with that 67 Larry Yingling. He's got to win, or else he might have some contract renegotiations in his future.
You know, it seems like when we have our Thursday broadcast and our Sunday broadcast, there's a lot of heat that goes back and forth between Larry and company. So I'm kind of glad to see that we got people in the chat right now just paying him back for all the guff he gives them on Sundays.
Yeah, no, so that's great friendship. I'll say you got to rib your buddies. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably one of the Hash Brothers. Because you can see he's got that Hash Brothers performance on board that 67 car. We're joking before about I'm just losing names tonight, about Todd having his Pro Stock car. He's been always running Ford, so not sure if that's maybe a Ford shop or not for the Merkle Racing engines. We'll have to quiz Todd next time we have a chance to chat with him. But yeah, right now though, let's say you got the LS side of things though with that 67 car with the Hash Brothers performance. So those LS engines, those are good ones to be able to unlock. Those cars got a lot of potential under the hood of those ones. So that's a pretty good business to be involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this. I'm never unimpressed with Larry's performance at any racetrack. We talked about letting him get out in front and control the pace. He's about a second ahead of Brandon Passalacqua, and they're running pretty similar times. Brandon was a little faster that time by, but I think Larry's just conserving himself right now.
Yeah, I think right now, so we know Larry. We know, again, he's very wily. He knows exactly what he's doing. And so he's holding a really steady pace right now. Him and Brennan, they pitted on the exact same lap, so that's going to be no difference between the two of them. And Kevin Freese, he pitted a lap earlier than those guys, and he's in that third spot. So, and I mean, look at the lap times. They're all within about a 1/1000th of one another. So, yeah, doing exactly what needs to be done with them at the moment here. So, so right now Larry still holds on to about a 1 second lead over Brandon Passalacqua, just under a 3 second lead over Kevin Freese. Saying this is a great run for Kevin. We've talked about him. We know he's a good driver all around, but we know how well he excels at the plate types tracks. But it's good to see him be able to get this solid run throughout the race here tonight to show what he can do on the intermediates and the other tracks as well. So, and I mean, the nice part for Kevin here is he's got about 10 seconds over the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. As you can see, right, he's got a little bit of, you can see actually, whatever happened to that pit stop for Quabi Brooks, he's fallen way further back than that last time though, Dale, because you can see he's all the way back. He's about a half a lap behind that the 67 Larry Yingling, so he's going to be in a tough spot to be able to get that lap back. At this point, he's going to have to just try to get around that one to be the lucky dog position. Then behind Maxwell is the 17 of Chad Wilkes in the 5th position. However, he's going to have some friends here soon. You see the 82 Andrew Pleshy. Andrew pitted about 10 laps later, so I think Andrew is going to definitely be eyeing a top 5 finish for himself in the 82 machine. Then behind him, Matt Quick in the 89 car is in 7th. He's kind of off in his own little spot right now, so nice little pocket to be in. But right now things looking pretty good up front. And I'll say, I mean, Yeah, so we got Kevin Hash over in the chat with us. So it's always a fun back and forth between himself and Larry, and I love to see it carry over here too.
Well, Kevin Hash isn't going to appreciate this as much as I am, but I don't know how I just noticed this, but looking at everybody's race cars. James Ledford in the 48 Ford Performance Machine, that is a beautiful, simple paint scheme. I love it.
No, it's a good looking scheme. What's funny about that though is I actually believe, if I remember right, I want to say James is a pretty much a Chevy guy in general too. Because I remember I gave him a hard time before. At one point I was like, "Whoa, what's the switch to Ford?" And I think he mentioned he just selected the wrong car by chance before. So that might be the case tonight. And so yeah, didn't want to do a custom paint or anything on that. But you're right though. I mean, it is a nice paint scheme on that one. But I'll have to bug James as well, see if he's starting to switch over to the dark side, if you will. Always a joke from the switching manufacturers there, but James right now last car in the lead lap in that 9th position, so he's been doing a really solid job here tonight, just keeping that car clean from 13th to the 9th position. So a solid night for James Ledford.
I don't think Kevin Brown's going to come back out on the track. I haven't seen him retire yet, but yeah, he's 13 laps down and still sitting on pit lane.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately that may be it for him. So that car that car took a pretty good shot to the outside wall, and it's one of those things where it's a tough situation to be in. Like I said, I'm just speculating. That's all I can really do. I don't know what's going through these drivers' heads. I usually don't know what's going through mine either. But you just have to go back and wonder. We saw the contact between the two of them earlier in the race that put Chad in that bad spot. And you just have to wonder if that's where Chad's mind was like, that 93 took me out, and maybe used them up a little bit in retaliation or in return. But you never know. Say they were on very, very different tire strategies as well. So hopefully again things get squared away. Because there's a lot to play for, obviously, with after tonight. Just have the one more race in the regular season before we go into the playoffs. But I think right now Brandon, he might have to put his admin hat on, but he's obviously got the driver's hat on, because we're going to be coming around here to 10 to go this time by.
Yeah, and Brandon's having just an amazing run today. Running right there, comparable lap time to Larry, about 1.2 seconds off, but running second. I mean, this season has been all around just a great season for Brandon Passalacqua.
It has, and the other thing too is I think as things runs, I want to say he's going to be the highest climber if things stay as they are. Brandon, he's gone from 10th to 2nd here, so that's a +8 gain for him. Matt Quick's at a +7 gain from 14th to 7th. So obviously the highest climber gets a couple of bonus points, I believe, as well. So of course Larry getting the bonus point for the pole award, but Brandon might be getting some bonus points going his way as well for the highest climber of the race. And of course the other thing too is if these guys are able to keep it clean, 0 incident points, there's also the bonus points for a clean race as well. So really that could help them out a long ways here too. I can't ignore us that we've been talking about Hash, but also in here we got Matthew Pisano, looks like a buddy of Brandon's as well. He's been over here in the chat rooting Brandon on as well. So yeah, really appreciate you here. And yeah, I said always Miller Lite. So there is no. It sounds like we've definitely got some competition going on that side. So like I said, those two Miller Lite machines here, just by chance too. I don't think there's any connection between Brandon and Kevin here, but still running solidly in that second and third positions here.
Yeah, good on both of them, because I can't stand it. I can't handle the Miller Lite. I drink Busch Light. That's a quality beer at a working man's price. So.
We're gonna start getting some hate mail here. I'll direct all hate mail to Dale Knott and I'll let you plug in your address when you need to later. But no, yes, everybody's got their beverages of choice, and that's what's fun with the competition. And like I said, Ford versus Chevy. You got the beer brands as well, so it always keeps things interesting. So. You just saw the 48 James Ledford. He just got put a lap down from the 67 Larry Yingling as he crosses with 6 to go here. I think Kevin just now did retire from the race, unfortunately, a little bit. And then you have to remind me, Dale, here. So we gotta double check. We gotta ask Larry if he uses his interviews to help him get better for his. So I think Larry's gotten better about using his hands in his interviews. Before he just didn't know what to do with them. But I think Larry's been really improving on that side of things as well. So he has plenty of chances for interviews. So hopefully he's able to do so. And speaking of siblings and rivalries and things of that nature, sounds like according to your brother, your beer of choice is just water.
I don't know when the last time I've seen that man drink a beer, to be honest. It's been years, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, you'll have to help him reacquire his taste, it sounds like. So, however, up front, 4 to go at the line. So we're going to jump back a little bit. We're talking about Andrew Pleshy. Dale was seeing if he could maybe chase down some of these drivers up front. He has been able to get around 17 of Chad Wilkes. That's a top 5 here. He's got Maxwell Caldwell about 3 seconds ahead. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get there. Tires, they're pretty much on the same tire strategy. And actually, Chad Wilkes, he's going to jump into the pits here from the 6th position here with 4 to go. So not sure if he maybe timed the fuel window wrong, or just maybe those tires are just with the damage might just be too rough for him. But he's going to come in here. It's going to give a handful of drivers here a couple of spots, which is obviously going to be a big break for them. So extra spots are always well appreciated whenever you get the opportunity. So we'll jump back up front here, though. Larry Yingling with 3 laps to go. And I'll say we got another viewer here, Nick Barbe, another fan on the Miller Lite side of things with Brandon Passalacqua in that 21 car. So yeah, so say we got some Miller support here tonight, though.
Well, I believe I just become Green White Checkers' least favorite broadcaster.
Yeah, so you might be getting some fan mail of maybe some beer to send your way to try to change your mind. It looks like no, just 17 is coming out. He's back out on track in that 17 car. Looks like tires and fuel there. I wonder if maybe, I don't know if there's any bonus points for fastest lap, but I kind of wonder maybe Chad's going to go for a glory lap here on his final lap of the race. We'll wait and see. That could be just one of those things like just, okay, I had a bad race. I'm just going to at least try to put a fast lap down right now with Brandon Passalacqua. Actually, he's got fastest lap of the race at 29.442. As we've got 1 lap to go here at Kansas. Larry Yingling going to try to lead him back to the final lap here.
Yeah, Brandon's been able to reel Larry in a little bit, but like I said earlier, I think Larry was just conserving, and now he knows it's go time. So I think this one's going to be a heater for him.
Yeah, so he won't be able to run fastest lap of the race by any means. I'll say those tires are long gone. But yeah, as he comes out of turn number 4, Larry Yingling going to cross the line here. He's going to hold on to it, get the win here tonight, just over the 21 of Brandon Passalacqua in 2nd position. 3rd place is going to go to that 25 of Kevin Freeze. And then see if Maxwell Caldwell, if he's able to hold off that 4th position over Andrew Pleshy. Looks like he will comfortably be able to do so. So Maxwell going to bring it home in the 4th position. Andrew Pleshy in 5th. And I believe Matt Quick in the 89 car, he's going to grab a 6th position from that 14th starting position. So great job by him as well, able to make some ground throughout the night here. And so yeah, so that being said, the Larry Yingling, he's going to get the win here tonight. And looking at the lap times, it doesn't look like Chad Wilkes is able to get that heater lap he was looking for, as Larry Yingling, he's celebrating here through the front stretch.
This is, you give the guy a couple weeks off from doing interviews, and this is what he comes back and does. So it's all the motivation Larry Yingling needed.
Yeah, so we got a nice little background here. See Larry celebrating, got the fireworks going off in the background. So pretty cool there, say for Larry as he burns it down the front stretch here. You have to be careful though if he pops that motor, so he's going to have a repair bill with Hash Brothers Performance here. He's also got to make sure he doesn't do the Chad Knaus knock the rear off thing, because that car's got to pass tech, and that motor is gone already. Alright, so what we're going to do here now, Dale, is we got to talk to our top 3, and that's going to kick things off with the 25 of Kevin Freeze. All right, let's hunt down that 25 of Kevin Freeze. There he is. All right, so we're going to pull Kevin on in here. We're definitely plenty used to interviewing you here, Kevin, but usually it's on Sundays, not on Thursdays. But you were stout tonight. Say qualified second, hung around that top 5 or so all night long. Obviously, a really difficult track tonight. I say Kansas kind of one of the outliers of our 1.5 milers. The way you have to race this track. We saw you pretty much running. You kind of run the inside to start off with, then you had to work your way to the wall and kind of run that top side. So I mean, how was your race? What was the I guess what were the main things you had to work on tonight as the race went on?
Well, lap one, I just went back to look at what happened. Wow, that was a series of unfortunate events for me. But I came back, and this is such a fun track to run. The fact you can run the wall and run the bottom all depends on what's working for you at the time.
Yeah, so there definitely is. You can move around here. So it's obviously once you get about 10, 15 laps, it seems like the wall's where you want to be. And say we kind of joke about usually the slide jobs over at the dirt tracks. So say, but it's something that can be done here. So you just gotta kind of almost send it in there and then kind of try to get that top side, get that momentum, and maybe slow the outside cars down a little bit too on the top side for their exits. But did you have to do any of that tonight, or were you able to stay pretty much in the groove you needed to be throughout the race?
Oh, I'm normally pretty conservative when it comes to throwing slide jobs like that because they can go absolutely terribly wrong for you. Uh, I was able to get by, make my passes on straightaways, and then just be patient because the setup got a little loose about lap 20. So I didn't want to just go sideways, ruin my race, and everybody else is with it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's a good way of doing things here. But I mean, again, just I mean, a really good result for you tonight. The one thing I think Dale and I really noticed was the pit strategy. Usually we see these drivers usually try to run this thing just about all the way out on fuel and then come in for the pits. It seemed like always pitting that little bit later kind of really brings a big dividends to the end. But tonight, I mean, for the most part, pretty much everybody pitted within about, I would say, like 2 to 3 laps of one another. Was that something you guys noticed that just were the lap times were that was the right call to make, or was it just kind of everybody was reacting to one another? I don't know if you saw anything from your side there.
Yeah, it's about a second and a half of fall off for the over the course of the run. So if you don't come in pretty quick, you're going to lose a lot of track position. And then when everybody's running up by the wall, it's really hard to get by people unless you want to be super aggressive. So once you see somebody go, you don't want to lose all that track position and really have to work hard to get back to the front.
Yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense. I mean, let's say you play the strategy just about perfectly as well. Say, I think you were one of the first ones. You're kind of the one that kind of led the pit stop cycles. Really, we'd see you duck in, and about a lap or two later, we'd see the rest of the field jump in. So, it seemed like everybody was on a similar pit stop strategy for sure tonight. But like I said, we're obviously used to seeing you up front on the super speedway side of things, but able to hold strong here and run really well with some of the guys that we expect to see week in and week out on the cup side. So. Yeah, just a great run for you tonight here overall, and I know say probably also nice a little bit of a breather just to have some fun before you get into that kind of that playoff rush over on the Sunday side of things too. But yeah, so got basically one more race here after this one tonight to get into that playoff section. I said, actually, I'm gonna double check the points because I want to say you were actually pretty close in here as well. Where is our Mr. Freeze? So I'm trying to hunt you down the points here. Sorry. But while you do that though, I'll let you, or while I hunt that down, I should say. I figure I'll give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give, and then I'm gonna see where I can find you in the points here real quick.
Yeah, huge thanks to all the admin here. This is such a fun track to run. Thank you for them putting it on the schedule. I wish iRacing had more tracks like this where you can start on one groove and move all around, find grip and speed. And thank you to you guys for putting on the broadcast tonight.
Nah, it's always a pleasure to be part of it. When I say I was able to hunt you down, so actually, so I think I was wrong on the point side of things. Yeah, I say you're still a little further down in the list there, but I say that's just from you not running all the races. This one, obviously, this will be your second top 10 of the season here, first top 5 in your 5th race. So, but I mean, just a great run overall though tonight. And I think you've picked up some fans though. Say we had a lot of Miller Lite fans in the chat here tonight. So. I think you definitely probably gained a couple just from that good looking paint scheme here this evening as well.
Yeah, I had to remake Rusty's paint scheme for this series. I was running the Folgers, thought I'd change it up a bit.
Now you always do well with all your paint schemes. They're always great looking week in and week out. But yeah, great run tonight, Kevin. Let's say well earned 3rd place finish. I think that puts a couple of bucks in your pocket as well. It's always nice to have as well. But yeah, just enjoy this one and look forward to seeing you on Sunday here.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
All right, Dale. So that's going to switch us over from one Miller Lite scheme to another Miller Lite scheme. And so I know Brandon's been enjoying having some opportunities to chat with us here tonight. So we're going to be able to bring in that number 10, or sorry, the number 21 of Brandon Paslock was starting from 10th, finishing second. I think that ties him actually with the highest climber because also we one of the drivers went from 14th to 6th, another +8 there. But just, I mean, you were on a roll there tonight, Brandon. We were watching you the opening laps. I mean, you got up to about I think up into that third, fourth spot. Obviously, the first thing, of course, is getting around that big incident on the first lap there in 3. Mm-hmm. But then from there, I mean, you were on the charge there. Dale and I were talking. It's just like it seems like there's a new level of aggression behind that 21 car, and you've been stepping it up here.
Yeah, definitely. No, first start off, yeah, I got lucky with that missing that first incident. I just went back and watched the replay, and I just hit the brakes and closed my eyes, and everything worked out for me. But I've grown a lot within this league. I've realized that I've gotten a lot more confidence, and I have a better feeling that I can race a lot of these guys that are really great in this league. And for me, it was always just worrying about should I save my tires or should I race? Should I save my tires or race? And I've realized that I have the ability to go out there and run a little bit more aggressive than I normally would, and still keep up a good pace. I'm still nowhere near Larry and Kevin Brown, and even the likes of Chad Wilkes and Ryan Kelly, but it's just a confidence booster that I've had throughout this season in particular. So whenever I get a chance to try to make a pass or just move forward, I'm going to take it from now on, and it's been a blast doing so.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Dale and I have been noticing. And yeah, you've been, like I said, I think it makes perfect sense to say where you take it a little bit easier now. Say you're able to just kind of, all right, I'm going to bump up the aggression and get things going. But I mean, I say it's a good time to do it because I say you had a lot of viewers here tonight. I say you had. We had Matthew Pisano was watching tonight. You had Nick Barbe as well watching you.
Excellent.
And also, of course, looks like a lot of Miller Lite fans as well. So say that goes a long ways as well. However, though, we've got a nickname question that you're going to have to explain to us. So I say we're going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
I say that's going to be the nickname of Big Mo Dallas. So you gotta tell us a story on this one.
Oh God. Okay. So quick story. I was really large when I was a little kid, and I played baseball. I was not very good, but when I did hit the ball, I went far. There's a professional baseball player, I believe, who played for the Mets named Mo Vaughn. So my baseball coach just started calling me Mo Vaughn. That transitioned to Mo throughout my childhood, and then all of a sudden, Big Mo Dallas out of nowhere came when I was in high school from another buddy of mine, and it's kind of transitioned with my college friends and my friends back home from high school. So that's where that's come from.
No, I love it. I love it. That's a good nickname to have. I think that's probably better than any of the nicknames Dale and I have probably ever gotten from our friends. So I would say stick with it. It's probably better than what some of the other options will be.
I'll put it on the side of my car next week, and it'll be good to go.
There you go. But man, yeah, just what a great run though tonight. I say, we talked to Kevin Freeze about that a little bit as well about this, but the fuel strategy here. Usually you guys go long on fuel runs. You guys this time actually everybody kind of pitted within about 2 or 3 laps of one another, and it was definitely not all the way out on the fuel run.
Yeah.
Was it just 3? I know you guys put a lot of laps in, just making sure the setups are good, and of course just kind of getting prepared for these races as well. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just what kind of what was the game plan there? What was the reasoning behind having to jump in the pits there, kind of early on the run, just splitting it into thirds almost?
Yeah, you knew you're gonna have to split up in 2 pit stops regardless of how you split it up. The problem is that nobody wants to. It's hard to pass after 15 laps. You're gonna have to do a slide job or perhaps rough somebody up, get into the corner, and get them loose or whatever. And so it's very hard to pass after 15 laps. So I think everybody's just scared to have too much of a difference between drivers. So I was going based off what Kevin was doing. As soon as Kevin came down, I would come down, and Larry was doing the same thing with me, or we'd communicate and try to come down near each other. And I think just everybody's afraid of protecting or being aggressive, protecting their track position. You saw it before. Kevin Brown had come down a lap before I did. He jumped me, and then even though I had 1 lap cleaner tires, fresher tires on, I wasn't able to pass him on. I think it was the second run of the race, and so that's what we're all afraid of, is getting jumped and then not being able to use that 1 lap, 2 lap fresher tires and make that pass again. So I think everybody was just playing checkers with each other tonight, and I think that's what you're going to see as we have a few more races, 1 more until the playoffs. It's just going to get closer and closer, and strategies are become more and more impactful as we go.
Yeah, so and I think you're exactly right with Kansas with this top line. Like I said,
Yeah.
I do suspect we'll see maybe a little bit of difference on the future races. Like I said, when we kind of get back to the bread and butter of the 1.5 milers that run the bottom side of the track, I think that'll be where we probably see maybe the long stretch out again. But
For
regardless, I mean, just a great run though for you tonight. I say we were really enjoying watching you. I say we saw you give Larry everything you had there. And say it's obviously it's tough to kind of you want to get him off his game, but say he seems to find a way to make it happen more often than not, unfortunately for us. But just great run though tonight, Brandon. Say again had some supporters here this evening on the chat, which say we love to see, and say I know it's always fun for you as well. But with that though, say like I said, you got some guys that were watching you, so I definitely want to give you the floor though for any thanks shouts you'd like to give.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate Nick Barber and Matt Pasano. Those are some of my greatest friends. I was actually just with both of them within the last 2 weeks, and it's always a great time. So I appreciate them watching. I love them. And then just like to say thank you to you guys up in the booth, Dale and Gail. It's a great listening to you guys every weekend. Truly appreciate it. And my teammates, I've had the opportunity to run with Max Caldwell, Andrew Pileski, Ryan Kelly, Chad Wilkes, Larry Yingling. Very consistent. I think that's where a lot of the better performance or better luck has come into play this season, is just running with those guys all the time and understanding, how aggressive you can be and when to push the envelope and when not to. So huge shout out to those guys. I truly appreciate them letting me in their group and letting me learn from them. And then to the admin team, Area 51, it's a lot of work that goes into this, but it's all definitely worth it. So I appreciate all the efforts there. And then to all the drivers, it's great to have people come out for the races. It's great. We haven't seen Charles Johnson in a few weeks, so it's great to see him. And that's what it's all about. So I'm just super appreciative of this league, and looking forward to next week and the final race before the playoffs.
Yeah, say it's all about to kick off. So say enjoy the calm before the storm, and say I think you're looking pretty solid in that top 8. We'll be obviously going into next week. We'll be looking at what the points are. Say of course the one drop week potentially adds a big wrinkle to a few drivers that are maybe closer to the edge. So it'll be really exciting to see how that's going to look. But yeah, enjoy this one though, Brandon. So maybe go find one of your Miller Lights and then enjoy it, and we'll catch you here soon again.
10-4. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good night.
All right, Dale, that leaves us one person left. And I have some requests. I got to ask Larry a couple of questions here as well, so I got to make sure I don't miss those. Larry Yingling, though, gets the win from pole position. It looked like you might have to fight a little harder than maybe you wanted to initially. We saw some hard charges to start things off. It seemed like once those tires started to get the wear, now you kind of do what you do best and kind of manage your pace, manage your tires, and then once it was go time, you're able to start building that gap. So obviously starting from pole, that helped you avoid some of that big wreck on turn 3 at the opening lap. But I'll say apart from that, though, I mean, take us through your race. It seemed like you're pretty solid all the way through here tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back up top. For me, nothing really happened. It was mainly just trying to hold Brandon and Kevin and other people off. And the race was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be entering. The whole week when we practiced, it was just full throttle, on the bottom, the whole run for the most part. But this room, it just seemed tighter, and we had to go up top earlier. And that definitely fit me when I had to start lifting.
Yeah, I say anytime you get some off throttle time, you definitely feel like it put things back into the driver's hands. As I know for a lot of people, that's exactly what you want to have happen. So you definitely had some peanut gallery in the background during your race. So I think you're going to be in a better position here for your contract negotiations or renegotiations with Hash Brother Performance. So that's going to be good for you as well. And then the question I was being requested to ask you, though, is if you're using Kevin Hash's interviews to help you get better for your interviews.
I am definitely not using his interviews. I do not want to put people to sleep. They take about 3 hours long, so no thank you.
Okay, and I think the follow-up, not the follow-up, but the other part of that one is we saw the burnouts there. So I think you're going to be having to make a trip over to Hash Brothers Performance because it looks like that 67 car is going to need an engine rebuild after that one tonight.
Oh, it'll certainly be worth it.
Yeah, it definitely was a stout motor tonight. We had had a lot of you guys run in the front there. Like you said though, the strategies, you're able to kind of use that to keep the track position. I've kind of asked everybody tonight, so I'll ask you the same as well. We saw the fuel window and the pit window wasn't what we used to see. We're usually seeing you guys run this thing pretty much out as far as you can on fuel and then tuck in here. And it seemed like it was just because of the difficulty of passing this top line that you got to run. Was that the reasoning for kind of pitting pretty much right around when everybody else did, just to avoid the risk of losing that track position tonight?
For sure. When on new tires, you're pretty much full throttle, maybe for 10 laps. And so even if you had a lap or 2 or 3 fresher lap tires, it wouldn't really matter because you're just still full throttle. And all that, it was like a 1.5 loss if you're staying out. And normally I'm the one that stays out the longest in pit, but I knew once I saw, I believe it was Kevin Freeze when he pitted, I knew I had to pit at the next lap, or Kevin Brown would have jumped me like Texas. And I don't know what happened to Kevin, but it sucks. He had problems. Me and him had a good battle for the lead at that time, and I think he definitely would have been right there, just like Brandon at the end.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys were definitely. It seemed like it was kind of a 3-horse race once things kind of really settled in and strung out that little bit. Like I said, a few drivers unfortunately got caught up in a couple incidents that really hurt their chances, obviously, tonight. But let's say the other thing was, let's say we were watching, let's say you were holding pretty steady with Brandon there those last handful of laps there before the end. Were you just kind of same thing, kind of your usual, just maybe try to manage your pace just enough to feel where you have enough gap around him where you feel safe but not burn up your tires, or just in case something happens there towards the end?
Oh, I have had a bad season. I just wanted to get the race over with, so I was going 100% the whole time. I wanted to go up top earlier, but it seemed like he was making ground on the bottom, so I had to start going on the bottom and air block him. And then once he got to the top, I knew for the most part there's no way he was going to pass me unless I got in dirty air, which I believe I was getting behind Ledford for a while, and no, it was Ryan, and it was starting to put me back towards Brandon, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. So even at a track like this, the dirty air definitely plays a big role. We noticed that a few times where someone would maybe get past, and as soon as they would enter the turns, you could just see right off the bat that the just didn't have the grip that they needed to just from the air on those cars. So you say you play the strategy right. I say obviously plenty of pace. So I say we always expect that from you. I say honestly, even the really good strategies as well. You did everything right tonight here. But yeah, I mean, great win. Like you said, it's the when we're used to seeing you pretty much week in and week out. I'd say I wouldn't say you've been having an off season, if you will, but say it's been a couple of races since you've been back to victory lane. So I'm sure it's always enjoyable to get back here, though. So yeah, I definitely want to give you the floor, though. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win this evening?
Definitely my teammates this race: Maxwell Caldwell, Angie Pleshy, Ryan Kelly, Chad Wilkes, and Brandon Pasalanica. And shout out to my sponsor, Hash Brothers Performance. If you need any work done on your Ellis engine or GM vehicle, contact them on Facebook to see what they can do for you. And thank you guys for the broadcast as always, and looking forward to Atlanta.
Yep, that's saying if you head there soon, so you might see Larry in the garage working on that Hash Brothers Performance Chevrolet, because like I said, that car's going to need an engine rebuild. So maybe get an autograph from your favorite driver over here at Area 51 as well. But no, great job though, Larry. Say well earned this evening. I say hard fought with you and Brandon and all the guys there tonight. Yeah, say able to get the win here tonight. I say going into obviously one more race before the playoffs kick off. So I'm sure it'll be exciting to get things rolling here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dale, that is our race winner, the 67 of Larry Yingling, getting the win here tonight at Kansas. Hopefully I picked up all the questions I needed to and all the little peanut galleries as well from his friends and teammates and such. So that being said, though, we got to go over our final standings for tonight. Larry Yingling getting the win over Brendan Pasalaco, just under a second between the two of them. Kevin Freeze, a solid third place finish. Maxwell Caldwell brings it home in fourth. Andrew Pleshy fifth. Matt Quick in sixth. Lewis Woodall in seventh position. Last car on the lead lap, so great recovery by him. We saw that a little bit of a pit road mishap, but able to hang on to it. James Ledford in eighth. Quabi Brooks brings it home in ninth. He went for that off strategy, just didn't pan out for him, unfortunately. Still able to grab a top 10 tonight. Gabe Butler in the 10th position. And the reign of the field here, you got Ryan Kelly in 11th. Not the night we expected for him, but I think he had some damage that really hampered his chances. Chad Wilkes, unfortunately, we saw just pretty much if anything could go wrong, the Chad it did tonight. Robbie Richards in 13th. Charles Johnson 14th. Eric Laurie rounds out 15th. And you got Todd Merkel in 16th. And I say Kevin Brown, unfortunately, retired early after we saw the contact between him and Chad there towards the end of that race. And then Michael Adamson to say first race, unfortunately not the result he was looking for, but hopefully we'll be seeing him again here soon in some future races. All right, Dale. So I believe that is, I want to say 8 down. So we're gonna have 1 to go, and then it's playoff time. So like I said, we're gonna have that 1 drop week. We'll be looking into that obviously before the next week's race, but it's gonna be all to play for here pretty soon.
Yeah, and next week's not an easy one. You know, they're going to be doing 100 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Very, very difficult track, and they've recently changed it a little bit as far as, you know, how the Cup car runs there. So it's pretty much going to be like a new track for everybody in the league.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I said there's going to be some changes on the way the top groove versus bottom groove, things of that nature. I said they're trying to find a way to bring some multi-groove racing back. So that's going to be a track very abrasive, really eats some tires up. So say tire management going to be crucial. Tire strategy, I think, as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see though what's going to be in store for us next week. Again, that's going to be our regular season finale before we lead off into our 3-race playoffs. But yeah, I say just a great race tonight. I say just one quick caution, the caution free the rest of the way, but definitely plenty of action throughout the field here tonight. Like I said, some drivers kind of getting the worst end of it, but in the end, Larry Yingling able to bring it home back to victory lane. Brandon Paslockwell, again, solid run here tonight, 2nd place. And then his Miller Lite buddy, Kevin Freeze, there in 3rd. However, I'll say all is not lost for you, Dale, because we're talking about Kevin Hash giving you a hard time about the Miller Lite stuff. I'll say he was actually drinking Busch Light while that was going on. So I'll say you still got some. I think you don't have too much hate mail. You'll be all right.
They want to hide it. They want to hide it. Nobody's proud of drinking Busch, but everybody loves it.
So everybody's going to try to hide something, but everybody's got their secret vices, if you will. But no, all joking aside, though, Dale, as always, really appreciate you joining me in here. Always a ton of fun. I was able to enjoy good racing and have some fun with you and make some jokes. And again, everybody also in the chat, really appreciate you guys being a part of this as well. It makes it all the more enjoyable to kind of be able to interact with you all too. So if you're ever watching, don't be shy. Feel free to chat. We'll definitely try to catch it and kind of give our 2 cents on things as well. It helps give us some insights as well. So as always, thank you all for watching. So I'm going to have to work on my outro here, Dale, because things are starting to change a little bit. People are things are starting to open back up a little bit. So I can't keep everybody home anymore, I don't think. But as always, though, if you can still try to stay home, stay safe, definitely wash your hands. And until Sunday, have a good night, everybody.